What's the hardest part about being an employer brander in the year of our Lord 2025?
I always say that to be a professional in this space, you have to be resourceful and you have to know how to pivot. You are not someone who is comfortable in gray space where things are not clearly defined, and you are not comfortable also being maybe the only person in the room that knows what you're discussing, what your job is.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but yes, right?
No, what does she do again?
This isn't the space for you. Like you have to, it's being uncomfortable, but being so comfortable in knowing what you are doing. And, you have to be someone who, has their own intrinsic ability to lead and be, upfront, direct, at the forefront, because no one else is going to do it for you.
Okay, count me down a cut, yes. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Employer Branding Unfiltered. I am super excited. So this one has been in the planning stages for the better part of a year. And for no other reason than this woman is probably the hardest working woman in employer branding. We have known each other for quite a while, and I've admired her journey through this space. Especially because she is doing EB in the pharma space, which I got my chops in pharma as well. Brilliant mind, business professional, consummate employer brand strategist. I am so excited to have you here, Shavonne Thomas.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how to live up to all of those things.
Well, we're going to try. We're going to try. Listen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Vision.
This is dope.
Yeah,
I love this space. It's given like all the inspiration, the vibes. I feel even just being in the office, I want to give you Shaker just a
talk about it.
Like the vibe in the office is just there's energy here. There's people everybody's doing the stuff. So it just feels good. It is a buzz,
it's
right?
A buzz.
It almost feels like I'm in a tech office. Like I'm in a I don't know. It's just the aura.
I love that. Oh, that's so good to hear. I will certainly relay that to Joe Shaker for sure. Please. Speaking of inspiration, you grabbed something from our inspiration wall. For those who aren't familiar, for any of our guests who come to the hub and in the Vision Lab, the first place we stop is the inspiration wall, and it's a wall of items. We'll show you some of that maybe in the B-roll, but a wall of items, and the guest gets to choose the one that chooses them. So, Shavonne, what inspirational item chose you today?
I love these affirmation cards.
Okay.
I've really kind of gotten into this on my own personal journey.
Shuffle them up.
I know. That's why I'm like, how can I I have small hands too. Like I can't I'm a terrible, when I play spades or cards or whatever, my family makes fun of me all. They're like, you and your baby hands, you're not doing anything.
You can't do the bridge.
I can.
Oh, see, yeah, no, you bet.
But
my bridge is trash.
Yeah.
Nobody crosses.
I didn't say it was great. I just said I could do it. Okay, so I'm going to turn these over and I'll pick one and then put it.
So we have, for those who didn't see, the You Got This inspirational affirmation cards, well-being affirmation cards. All right.
Okay. Oh, I love this one.
Okay.
So I guess my affirmation for today is each day is a new beginning.
I believe that to be true.
I do believe that to be true.
Every day you get a new opportunity.
A new opportunity to start over.
I'll leave this right here.
I also feel like that kind of goes hand in hand. You want to leave
right
it
there? Yep. For the world to see.
Where they say, and I'm trying to keep this top of mind for myself.
Yeah.
You get the same 24 hours that Beyonce gets every day.
Look.
So what you plan to do with it is your choice.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, let's get the people familiar with who you are.
Okay.
Tell them what you do.
Yep.
And where you've been to get here.
Oh. Journey. I feel like everybody that I talk to in the employer brand space has a very similar journey, even just generally in talent acquisition, right? No one goes to college or to school to say, I want to be an employer brand professional and, create brands or, whatever.
That's a fact.
Fell into this like everybody else has. I started in talent acquisition. Started from the bottom. Talent acquisition coordinator.
Okay.
Learned all the ins and outs. But I will tell you, for anyone that hasn't taken that journey, it was the best boot camp because you understand at the very ground level TA.
Yes.
And you understand all of the things from, the candidate communication to, process, ETS, and all of those things that really, really truly like play into your day to day in doing employer brand and recruitment marketing right.
Gotcha.
I've worked in several different industries. I've had a lot of great exposure to so many different teams. So I live in the DC area. So government contracting was, a lot of the beginning of my early stages, early in my career. And then moved into, some management consulting companies, the Booz Allens, the Accentures. And then again, randomly fell into pharma. I am not a science thinker. I am not that analytical. And it was also another one of those like stages in my career where it was like, okay, this is different. The work it is what it is, right? Yeah. Everyone in employer brand space, like we're typically, managing the same thing or managing all the things. But that was the first time where it was like really, truly trying to speak to employees about their experience and allowing them the opportunity to talk about their experience in a different way. And I say that because when you're working with, people that have tech backgrounds or science background, you know this. They were like, I don't want to talk. Don't put me on camera. What do I say? How do I say it? I don't even know how to talk about this. This is just what I do every day. I do these amazing, things every day, and I'm just in it. Yeah. But we're like, no, we want you to be in it, but we want you to tell everybody else about that experience and that, so talent ambassadorship was like a huge journey when I started in the pharma space and I was at AstraZeneca.
Okay. Yeah.
That was also one of the first times where it was like, okay, we need an EVP. We don't know what to do with it, but we think we need it. And we got to a space where we had it, and then it was like, now what?
Oh yes, we're gonna dig into that.
Like how? What is this thing? It's on paper. It's a thing. Like by the way, what is EVP? Is it employee? Is it employer? Like what is it? So it was like okay, and then who approves it? Who that has been a thing several times in my career. Yeah. Especially if this space is new, right? And it was very much so then. And it was just like we just have to get into it. Yeah. Like let's do some campaigning. Let's get some budget. Let's, and I'm always like, sorry for all of the employers that I've worked for in the past, because I typically ask for forgiveness after and just go and do the things that, I feel are the right things to do. I mean, it's
kind of have to.
You have to be like a little
risk on. Yeah.
And it's hard.
Not risk on.
Because when you're working in industries that are heavily regulated.
They're not risk takers.
They are not risk takers. Like it's so yeah.
Not when it comes to employer brand.
Not when it comes to right.
Breakthrough drug.
All day.
Let's take some risks.
All day, right? But
employer brand.
It's like wait. You want to say what? And you want us to talk about our what we offer and what but so yeah. Where am I up to? So
now we're up to here.
I'm now at AbbVie.
Yeah.
Which AbbVie has such an amazing story, and that was what drew me to the organization. Because it's not just, and I mean, again, I can say it, I guess, because I work there and but it's their experience and how they have worked at speed and at scale to bring products to market in their short tenure. Like that story is just like incredible. Like you don't see that. And again, you being familiar with, pharma and biopharma and, clinical trials and all of the like that stuff takes time. And we were able to deliver, they had a directive. They wanted to deliver 10 products to market in 10 years. And they did. Like that was incredible. And we're still doing the things. They're still pressing, the envelope and, trying to create new discoveries and new opportunities, and that is really what drives me every day in this space. Yeah. So I, like a lot of us, I am a team of one, and we have over 50,000 employees globally. It also was a bit different too because this is the first pharma organization that I've worked for that their headquarters is in the US. So ways of working is a little, different. But and they're very, focused where their headquarters is, and that is, where a lot of the magic happens, et cetera. So we're on a journey to, really explain and share our story, and our culture. I will talk about that too, because that's it's a huge thing, for, the organization that, where I am now. And also just creating that connect point for our teams, our leaders, and helping them understand that, EBP and culture don't have to be in a boxing match all the time. Like, these are the things that help to drive all of it together. They should work in tandem. So that's a lot of I don't know, for anybody that follows me on LinkedIn, I did that whole, what is it, where you create your action figure.
Yeah.
And I had ChatGPT actually, because it now knows me, was like, yeah, you're definitely on your soapbox and you're very passionate. And I was like, soapbox, I guess that is me, because I'm always like preaching
Of employer brand, yes.
the gospel of this, and it not just being a thing like that sits on the side, that making pretty pictures and creating taglines and all of that. Like, this plays a bigger part in business strategy and our business success, at the end of the day.
Fascinating journey.
Yes, that was a lot.
No. This is where you purge all of the employer brand traumas. Right? This is the purge of employer brand traumas. So speaking of, she almost spit water, folks.
We need it.
This is good.
We might need a support group.
I think so. There's a huge market for EB therapy. So speaking of that, I want to hear, what is the hardest part of your job in employer brand, and then we'll get into some of the mechanics of it. But as it stands today, what's the hardest part about being an employer brander in the year of our Lord 2025?
I always say that to be a professional in this space, and everyone that I've met in this space is that, right? You have to be resourceful, and you have to know how to pivot. And if you are not someone who is comfortable in gray space where things are not clearly defined, and you are not comfortable also, being maybe the only person in the room that knows what you're, really at the base of it, really what you're discussing, what your job is.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but yes, right?
Oh, what is she doing?
This isn't the space for you. Like, you have to, it's being uncomfortable, but being so comfortable in knowing what you are doing. And, you have to be someone who, has their own intrinsic ability to lead and be, upfront, direct, at the forefront, because no one else is going to do it for you. I, don't know an easier way to say that. So I guess, so I will say the most difficult piece is feeling like you're the only one sometimes, because sometimes you are the only one. And then also just, in general, you have to always be prepared to share. Like, there's no room for not being prepared.
That's strong.
You got to stay ready. Like, there's no time that there's no like, okay, well, I'm going to get ready. No, you always have to be on. And that sounds harsh, but it's just true, because, this is not something that, people easily grasp. When you talk brand anyway, it's not just employer brand, just brand generally, to people who are very analytical, want, very clear data points. What am I going to get? What is this, et cetera. It's having the conversation points that mean the most to that stakeholder that you're talking to. And you have to, again, that pivot piece, like, you have to give them the stuff that matters to them.
Yeah.
It's not the same for everyone. You have to know your audience. You have, it's not the same for every single stakeholder. You got your communicators, you've got your leadership, you've got, talent acquisition, you've got, everyone's after a different thing. All, even though we're all in the same game, we all, at the end of the day, want the same thing, which is great talent to join the organization and stay at the organization. But how do you get there? It differs.
That's where the disconnect comes, or I say the opportunity to bring people along. And that's a lot of great points in there. I think the tough part is being the only one in the room who knows fully what you do, having to educate a lot.
Yep.
Especially educating people who brought you in because they know they needed you, but don't know exactly why they need you or how you're supposed to do what they need you to do. And then you got to...
Over the years, I've maybe said this like quite a few times.
Sure.
That point where it's like you brought me here. I didn't write a letter and say, hey, by the way, like it'd be really great to have me. Like, no, like, yeah, it's crazy. But
funny.
It is true. That's so true.
And it's commonplace, right?
Yeah.
Like this is what we do. And I'm fascinated by how long this has been a job, a function, and how many people still don't know what it is.
Still don't know.
So this is one of the things that we do on Employer Branding Unfiltered is really try to educate those in our space who know of it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe have a loose understanding of it. And from a practitioner's perspective, really just demystifying it. So one of the questions, and this has come up a lot recently, is like the difference between employer branding and recruitment marketing. Yeah, I know. I know. So I would love for you to just give your take on the difference between those two.
So there was someone in the space who put it together for me, and it was easy for me to take it to my stakeholders. So recruitment marketing is, so if you think, the candy bar, the wrapper on the candy bar is, the employer brand. Getting it on the shelf to that consumer who is going to want that candy bar is the marketing piece of it.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I mean, and it's just that simple. The hard part for us in this space often is to justify the brand piece of it. That's always a thing. Because with recruitment marketing, you can say, okay, we'll tie this to, we have X amount of openings, or we're forecasting, we have jobs, and we know we want X amount of applications, and we want conversions, et cetera. And that's your data point, and that's how you deliver ROI. Excuse me. I've gone on a journey over the last few years. Again, soapbox moments. Talking about the value of organic and the value of an impression and what that means for us to, get that conversion. But then also that brand, sharing that brand with the right talent so that when they are ready to make a move, they can determine for themselves whether that employer is the right employer for them or it's not. And that's the beauty of your brand and your marketing efforts, being able to tell that story and reach out to, it's not just reaching the talent that have the skill. At the end of the day, what our job is to get the right talent in at the right time. That is going to make a contribution to the organization. And again, that's where you tie it and, the bigger piece, that business strategy and business success. That's what all of this is meant to do.
I love it. I love it. Great analogy. For those, take the candy bar, run with it.
I'm not going to take credit for that because it was someone else in our space. I just don't remember, but I used it in a presentation to one of my stakeholder groups, and they were actually able to grasp it. Yeah. And the other way that I talk about it too, specifically for my stakeholders, because they understand product marketing, getting our medicines, on the shelves. And I explained to them, if you don't tell anybody that the medicine's on the shelf, they're not going to know that it's there. You see, we know that there's value in sharing that we have what this product is,
Right.
what it does,
Yeah.
who it's for. It's the same thing in employer brand.
Mm-hmm.
What is this organization? What do we do? How do we make an impact? And who is this organization for in terms of talent?
Yeah, I like to say that, recruitment marketing is about putting butts in seats.
Yep.
But employer branding is telling the butt for the seat what it feels like. What is the experience of sitting in said seat? Why should you want to be
Why would you want this
versus
seat?
that seat?
Right.
You know?
And maybe the seat isn't for you.
I'm working on that one. Just bear with me.
We gotta
HR?
we'll
Cut. So, it's unfiltered, folks. It's unfiltered.
see, I told you that we were gonna get in trouble. I don't know why you put me in this situation.
I told you I'd protect you through this process. I don't know how I'm doing. Who's protecting me? So look, so this is an interesting thing. So you currently sit in the HRTA function, yeah?
So we have HR communications,
Okay.
which is not a part of talent acquisition. It's under talent for our organization.
Okay.
So talent acquisition is a client group,
Okay.
probably my number one client group, right?
Sure.
But then there's also culture. There's also, so we have COEs, yeah, total rewards and all of that.
Yes.
As well, that
Damn, I just dated myself.
No,
compensation and benefits. Ooh, it's like chief HR.
I said there was a
punks.
oh God, I mentioned snag a job or something like that to someone. I was like, oh my God, I'm ancient.
I remember them.
Yes. So anyway.
Yes. Okay. So you're in the HR.
Yeah, HR. So yeah, currently, this is actually the first role that I've had that's in that space.
How has that been?
It's interesting. It's just, different, not being directly under the talent acquisition umbrella.
Sure.
So it's been a lot of coaching for talent acquisition on how to leverage, like our, what we produce, et cetera. But it's not like in the weeds. Okay. And we've kind of also separated. So I, in my team, manage
solo dolo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Employer brand, enterprise employer brand initiatives, and then recruitment marketing, functional recruitment marketing. And the one concession that was made was that any like job ads marketing, that would be managed directly in our talent acquisition organization.
Makes sense.
So we're still, again, we're still figuring it out. And of course, since I opened Pandora's box about more recruitment marketing efforts versus us just posting jobs on LinkedIn and doing sponsored jobs on LinkedIn, we're talking about programmatic ads and programmatic jobs and Google search ads and all of those things. Yeah. Now it's like everybody wants the shiny new thing. So we're doing a lot more functional specific campaigns, which are funded by our business.
Okay. So the business is paying for the promotion of the jobs that are open. Talk to me about the culture work and showcasing the experience.
Yeah. So we are fortunate at AbbVie that culture is at the helm of, our employee experience, right? And we have a pretty robust culture team. And we have what we call at AbbVie the ways we work. So there are tenets that, we as employees know, like this is kind of like the AbbVie way. This is how we do the stuff and make the sauce, right? So we take that and we have a narrative and we have, all of those pieces, have made sure that there is integration between, we have our EVP, we have our employer brand playbook, our strategy, all of our key messaging, et cetera, and make sure that there's a marriage between that. Our philosophy when I joined AbbVie was to create less separation between the corporate brand and the employer brand. Okay. Because before it was they were two totally different things. Yes. And the purpose behind that was, again, just to make sure that, there was intersectionality, that there was alignment, and we were very clear about what it is that, really is the makeup.
Sure.
of AbbVie. So our employer brand, or EVP, is Together We Break Through. And that speaks to our ability. And one of the things that AbbVie prides itself on is the cross-functional opportunities for employees to work not just within, their team, their group, et cetera. We also, have put a lot of emphasis on professional development, not just being, doing the everyday, standard, but thinking, more high level and thinking, bigger and more global. That's a big piece of our story. And then just also inclusivity has always just been a big, part of our story. And that's not going to change.
Right on.
So,
Yeah, I was going to ask, you said the I word.
I know. I don't.
So, I mean, I feel like now we have to talk about it.
Okay.
So, 2025.
Yeah.
It's been quite a roller coaster thus far, and we're only
Okay.
5.5 months in. How has the shifting DE&I landscape impacted your EB work? Because look, I mean, it's who you're showing, it's what you're saying,
Right.
And government contractors, and
Yeah.
how have you navigated that as an employer branding professional? I won't get you into the legal weeds, but
Right.
you still have to sell
That's right.
this culture to prospective talent and ensure that those who are already here are still in love with you.
That's right. I will, I won't speak specifically about AbbVie.
No, just as a
But
practitioner.
generally, as a practitioner, I've noticed that there's been a shift in one or two directions.
Okay.
I think it's, there are companies who have totally decided that, their commitment to, those efforts or diversity, whatever,
Yeah.
they're gone. They're not, concerned about. I will say I'm so glad I'm not in the government contracting space anymore, because that would be, really tough.
Yeah.
However, I think the employers who are doing it right know that that is still that's still an important tenet for a business to not necessarily like, oh, we have a DEI program, or we have, like, why do we even have to say that, but that they care that their employees feel at home, feel included, and, feel good about who they work for, and, what that opportunity is available to them, within, that organization. So as a practitioner, I'm excited that, some of the brands that, I've either previously worked for or currently, et cetera, have, decided that, no, that's still very important for us, not only because, it is generally important as a social construct or whatever, but because we need that in order to do good work at the, very basic,
That's right.
So, and for me, I think that will continue to be, where I stand.
I love it. It's a weird world in the sense that, it's not illegal to showcase who works at your organization.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so, I've seen everything from just complete scrubbing of career sites to, pulling down social campaigns. These are things that are happening.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now, how do you square the circle of, well, we still need talent, not only to come join, but also to stay.
That's right.
And so when you have a lot of companies who have paused on hiring or slowed down hiring considerably, now the game is retention. And so as someone who is tasked with showcasing the culture as it is and aspirationally how you want it to be, I can imagine that there's some challenges there. You've been in conversations, or you've had friends in the space who are like going through it.
Yeah. And I was just reading and I shared it out actually with my team because it had a lot of great information. Who was the vendor? They put out I think it was not Clickify. No.
Oh.
Appcast, I think.
Okay.
They did their like kind of state of recruitment marketing report. They just released it. And they referenced, kind of the state of affairs, where we are in the labor market. And, 5 years ago or 4 years ago, it was, everyone was leaving their jobs because they wanted more support in, that space and more, they wanted their employer to also take a stance as it related to like social justice reform. They wanted to hear those things. And, people were seeing that they wanted to match their values with their employer.
Yeah.
And now, I guess apparently we're in what they're calling the Great Stay, where, they're finding that. So you talk about retention. So getting the right talent, not only in the organization, but, making sure that they feel comfortable enough to stay. When we talk about, inclusion and, how we do that and how, we make that make sense for our culture. That's huge. It's not just a selling point. It's not like, oh, well, we encourage diversity. I feel like, well, that was always just like a statement, like a throwaway. Like, I feel like in a lot, everyone has it in their job descriptions, along with their, whatever. But
that was the wave. It was,
how do you, yeah, it was
was the trend.
But how companies are actually doing it, like, I feel like we've uncovered, or we're like taking off the veil.
That's
and
right.
Companies are now having to actually like show and prove, not just say we encourage, whatever.
Yeah.
But how are you doing it? And that's part of that, like really sharing your culture, really sharing, what's underneath, the surface.
So I'm fascinated by, I'm completely intrigued by this notion of transparency being the new authenticity, but I'm evolving that a bit to say vulnerability is the new authenticity.
Like that.
And it's hard for an employer brander to want to push that because it's fully reliant on the corporation, right? How comfortable is your leadership going to be about being vulnerable about who they are as a culture, as a company? How do you balance that sort of, because we work at these organizations too. We're not just tasked with showcasing the company.
Yeah.
We are employees of those companies when we're internal. How do you balance that? I want to give a candidate enough information to be able to make a decision on, is this where they want to invest their time, their talent, versus, hey, this is who we are, and I really want you to make a decision if you can't ride with that.
Right.
Right. So how do you navigate that space?
I don't have all the answers, Sway. I will say that, that's rough. I feel like a lot of that, and where, if I have the opportunity to, to coach like hiring teams, about being fully, transparent, like during the hiring process. Like, I feel like it's our job, yes, to, have ambassadors and have, employees tell their story. I'm always like encouraging employees to do more sharing on their own channels and their own networks. Of course, we know that comes across way more authentic than, HR or, the organization saying it.
That's right.
So it's like that piece, but like the typical employee doesn't know what transparent, like, and then we still have our rules that we have to follow. Like, you can't say this, you can't do that, you can't post this. So where I have encouraged my team, mainly like TA, like when they're having conversations with hiring managers and when they do have openings, and we're actually going to start doing more employee generated video. And that's one place where it's like, we truly really want you, we're going to give you a prompt, but I'm not going to give you a script. Like, I want you to really like tell me your experience. I mean, if you're going to trash us, then, we won't use that. But
Data.
I mean,
it's therapeutic,
I think it's also, and that's a good point too. Like, making sure that you understand that team is huge. And gleaning insight from, exit interviews, and not all companies, do that anymore. So there's a lot of assumption that comes into play too. That's like, because hiring managers or team leads or whomever, they're always like, my team is great. My team does, we're fantastic. Everyone wants to come and work here. So it is a hard balance. I don't have a definitive, like, this is exactly how we do it, but I do think, there is a there's definitely more opportunity to leverage employee generated content and getting it in front of, teams. I also, like I said, I would encourage more of that in those conversations about, as you're getting more into the recruitment process, about the role, what you expect, et cetera. And I also am trying to encourage my hiring managers to be more at the forefront so that, again, people can see, like, this is who, I'm potentially considering working for, and this is what they expect. And not so much expectation, but like, hiring manager, let's do a video job description. What does success look like on your team? What does success look like in this role? And really put it out there. And that's, I think, a good way to, really kind of tell it.
I don't disagree. I would love to see the hiring manager video, the video job description that tells you exactly why you shouldn't apply.
Yeah.
Tell me all the reasons why this is not for you. But if these are the things that you would run towards, then we'd love to have you.
I would love to see a brand also do that.
I'm waiting. Like, I want to see a full Repel brand campaign. Like, crazy part, a lot of these conversations I find myself in with folks who do this work, one particular brand comes up frequently. Goldman Sachs. Now, when you think Goldman Sachs, and I know you have a feeling about it as you hear it, but what you know about that culture, having never worked for Goldman Sachs, but what we know is that they are not for everybody. And they have no apologies telling people who's not for them.
That's right.
In fact, so much so, they'll tell you straight up, it's a grindhouse. Like, you are going to work harder than you've ever worked. You're probably going to be, challenged in ways you never thought you would. It's going to be hard. It's going to, like, all of these things. And yet, and still, people line up around the block to work for them. We'll run through brick walls to work for them. And so you have to think, okay, so what is it about knowing how hard this is going to be, or maybe how uncomfortable I'm going to be, but what is on the other side of that? And it's like this prestige of having Goldman Sachs on your resume, or the relationships you're going to make, or the amount of money you're about to make, right? And all these things. These are the things that, if you can be very clear about who you are not, people still run towards. I mean, Netflix culture, radical candor. I know, there's other companies out there that have these, like, look, man, this isn't for everybody.
Everything isn't for everybody.
That's a fact. And but yet so many employer branders make their brands for everybody.
And that's when you're not doing it. You're doing it wrong. I mean, it's not for everybody. The place that you work is not for everybody. Why would anyone, if that was the case, everyone would work for the same
everybody would work
company,
for everybody?
like no. So I appreciate that. Like, that's a really good example. And you're right. There are the people who are willing to make the grind, and it's all that risk and reward. It's very different for every human being.
That's right.
So
yeah, I'd love to see the evolution, not only for the Repel side, but when I think it was like LinkedIn Talent Connect 2022, maybe, when it was in LA. Caroline Wanga, current CEO at Essence, was the keynote, and she said that we need to stop trying to make these cultures places where people come and they stay forever, right? We don't want you forever. We should be positioning our people to come in, make an impact, give them skills that make them highly valuable, give them a great experience, and then let them go off into their next experience and carry that brand equity, that brand goodwill forward. Right. And now, right, so I always ask, like, what would somebody who's trying to poach your talent want them for? Like, why, right? Because you know, like, we've all heard, oh no, we've got to get such and such from X company. Yeah. And it's like, no idea who the person is. Right. But because of where they were, they are now highly attractive on the market. How do you make your company the company that says, I want to go steal talent from them? That's right. You know what I'm saying? That's very true. Yeah. So from a brander perspective, I think we have some play in that, but there's also a cultural element. Yes. That we don't necessarily get to shape. To your earlier point about, we don't want, this to be the place that employees come and stay forever. Right. That's so true. Like, just think, like, people evolve over time too. You're not the same person you were at 20, when you're, 50 years old. That's right. And
you want also to create the experience that makes sense for that employee in their, whatever life, span they're in, and make it make sense for them. That I love that.
Yeah. Well, we'll ponder that for a bit.
Yeah.
I want to be conscious of your valuable time. So,
Is that you telling me I'm talking too much?
no. It's me probably telling I'm talking too much, and this is your space. I wanna ask a question. Actually, we're at the part in the show where we have our guests leave a question for the next guest to answer, and then you in turn can leave a question for our next guest. And the question that was left for you.
Oh gosh.
Hey, brace yourself. Now, what are you doing to make the space better for the next person coming behind you?
And are we talking
EB.
EB space?
Yes.
Ooh, what am I doing to make this space better? I am by nature, I think. I like connections.
Yeah.
And I've had, the opportunity to make several connections with many other practitioners in this space. Just generically, like even just like, hey, I saw your post the other day. That was fantastic. That was great. Or, hey, by the way, I see you're still in the market.
Yeah.
I saw this great job, or I heard, someone, or you might want to connect with this person, et cetera. I think it's just generally just giving all of this space a hug because I feel like we need it. And I wish, at some point in and I've had, really, you have been one of them, and several other individuals who I could name, have embraced me in this space. And I feel like that is just so important. Just generally, like we are a community of people that like just knowing that like when I meet random people that I've not met before and they do this work and I'm like, oh my God, like, and then it's like, we're speaking the same language. Hey,
Right.
So I try to be cognizant of that when, I have the ability to do that. I'm not going to pretend that I am metrics queen or I have all the thought pieces or whatever, but I know enough to be dangerous.
Sure.
And, whatever I can contribute to, other practitioners, I will. And I'm always, willing to do that. So
I love it.
Give the community a hug.
A communal hug. Yes. Just warm embrace to those who practice.
Gotta get that support group going.
Look, there's not many of us, man.
It's not.
It's growing.
It is.
But it's still not a vast community. And when you do engage with other employer branders who get it, who understand what you're dealing with, that community is so important. So
yeah,
absolutely. So in due fashion, what question would you like to leave for the next?
I would love to know. And I think it's because I'm kind of in this, I'm in this process for myself.
All right.
What's next? And not just for this space, but because we get often pigeonholed in this space, what are they considering, next on the radar, for them? I mean, there are people that, people who are going to be lifers and, do this work, forever. But what I know about many people in the space is you hit a period where it's like, okay, I've done all the things. I have done this, it's like Groundhog Day. Like you join another company and you do it all over again, or you do, so what's next? And where do we see ourselves?
Okay. Well, I think that's a great question to ask the next individual. And I think also of our space, what's next?
Yeah.
Right.
There's not a lot to talk about that. Let's talk about it.
Shavonne, I can't thank you enough for this time. I feel like we could go 2 more hours.
I know. This time went really fast.
Listen, good conversations do that.
That's right.
So we would love to have you back anytime you're in town. Definitely let us know.
For sure.
We can always do this from abroad as well.
That's right.
Thank you, friend.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see y'all on the next episode for sure.